Earlier you said you had a question. Yes, I did. You said that you believe that the rapture is going to happen before the tribulation. I happen to disagree with you. I heard somebody talking about the rapture. I want to hear what you guys have to say. I guess we have two people. So what were you guys going to ask? Well, I disagree with you. I think it is post-trib because we have a lot of evidence. I know you might have to, but I just want to go through a little, not quite a debate, but listen to what you have to say and I'll tell you what I have to say. Ooh, this is getting interesting. Well, I disagree with both of you. I believe it's pre-wrath, and I have evidence for it too. So, who wants to go first? And we'll see. Well, I believe it's pre-trib because in 1 Thessalonians 5:9 we are told we are not destined for wrath or anything, and that the whole tribulation, according to what we see in Revelation, seems like it's full of God's wrath, anger, and judgment upon the whole earth. So why would they tell us we're not accounted to wrath, yet then bring us through the whole tribulation, as you're saying, or half the tribulation, as you are saying, when the whole thing is his wrath, and we are exempt from that. We are not going to go through wrath, as we're told. Then why in Revelation 20 do we see that John tells us he saw believers who got their heads cut off because they did not worship the beast and get the mark, as clearly seen in Revelation as telling us that we is in the tribulation, and that happens about halfway through the tribulation. Well, halfway through the tribulation, you said, so that means that it could possibly be that they died right before the wrath of the Lamb, or the wrath of God, as we see, because it starts getting really bad about halfway through, so that means that they could have died before. Well, we are told in Revelation 3:10 that we will be kept from the hour of trial, so that means hour of trial as in the tribulation. So that means we will most likely not be here for the hour of trial as in the tribulation, and everything that's going through and going to happen with that. Couldn't that hour be talking about the hour or the day when Satan was released from the endless pit of fiery hell at the end of the millennium to tempt us, the hour of temptation and destruction? And he is going to tempt us one last time. So maybe that could be the hour it is talking about. And so maybe we're not going to be saved from the tribulation. That's where we're raptured at the end, given our new bodies, come back down with Jesus to fight in Armageddon, and then we go through the millennial reign, and at the end we are saved from that because we are now in our heavenly bodies. Those are both very interesting, but I have something to interject that might change your mind. So if we look in Matthew 24:29-31, immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light, and the stars will fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven will be shaken. Then will appear in heaven the sign of the Son of Man, and then all the tribes of the earth will mourn, and they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory, and he will send out his angel with a loud trumpet call, and they will gather his elect from the four winds from the end of the earth. So this may seem like it's supporting post-trib, which it could be, but it was saying that immediately after tribulation, those days, the sun, immediately after tribulation of that day. But what if it's talking about halfway through, immediately after that? What if there's a moment of silence, as we are told? It will be silent for about half an hour in heaven. What if, now hear me out, if I go to Revelation 6:12-17, let's listen to this. When he opened the sixth seal, I looked, and behold, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth. The moon became like blood. And the stars of the sky fell to the earth as a fig tree sheds its winter fruit. When the wind shaken by a gale, the sky vanished like a scroll that is being rolled up, and every mountain and island was removed from its place. Then the king of the earth, and the great ones, and the generals, and the rich and the powerful, and everyone, slave and free, hid themselves in the caves and among the rocks of the mountains, calling for the mountains and rocks, fall on us, hide us from the face of him who is seated on the throne, and from the great wrath of the Lamb, for the great day of their wrath has come. Who can stand? This is right when the second half of the tribulation starts. So what if it sounds a lot like in Matthew, what we read, same events, very similar events, the sky turning black, stars falling like fig trees. What if right between the first half and the second half, he raptures the church and leaves his mark in the sky? That's a really good argument, actually, but what proof do you have that there will be silence for about half an hour? Like you said, I know it's in Revelation, but how do you know it's going to be in the middle? And those verses align on some things, but do they align on all things? Don't really align on everything. And also, that verse clearly says in Matthew 24 that at the end, so I'm not saying I'm with post-tribulation, but it sounds more like it's post-tribulation than pre-wrath. Well, thank you for pointing that out. I was not expecting you to be on my side with that one, but yeah, it points out that he pointed out, it said at the end of the tribulation. Why your guys' whole argument, big part of your argument is that it says we will be saved from wrath, and the greatest part of the tribulation doesn't start till the second half. When it says tribulation, that tribulation most likely is talking about that tribulation. It could be talking about that tribulation, or it could just be talking about tribulation in general, as in suffering. But maybe, I don't know, maybe it's talking about the birth pains leading up to it, and then we will be raptured after that with the great signs in heaven and coming down and rapturing us from the earth after the birth pains, that tribulation, and not the great tribulation. But then again, you could be right, you could be right. I thank you guys for coming to me with these questions, and it's really strong of you guys to come up and ask me these things. So I don't know. Now you're making me ask some questions about the pre-trib, so I'll look deeper into it. Thanks. See you next Sunday, I guess, too. I was expecting you to be more on my side a little bit, but it's still very interesting, and I will look into both yours, too. You did, though, have some very compelling arguments, so I'll look more into yours also, because there were a few in there, like the silence in heaven, and it's just, I'm struggling a little bit with the fact that it says tribulation, and we're talking about the Great Tribulation, the rapture, and so that's why I'm struggling a little bit. Maybe I need to look into some of the different versions and translations to see if it says anything different. Like maybe you could say trials of that day or something that will make your view on that a little bit more sense. I hope you guys like that. That is my first skit I have done, so took a lot of preparation. I just thought I should do something like talking about the few of the different points of views of rapture. Thanks for watching.